Norton is not a doctor. He's not an expert. He's not even a good person. The views, opinions, advice, and humor of Jim Norton does not reflect those of any doctor, of SiriusXM, of Opie Radio, or anyone else. They are solely those of Jim Norton, Lyle Chipperson, Edgar Mellencamp, Paul Hargis, and whoever else lives in that chinless head of his. If any of this advice goes wrong, you are the asshole who called a comedian instead of a doctor.
An icon in comedy, a fighter for freedoms, an accomplished entertainer, and a pervert. You've got problems, he's got problems. You've got questions, he's got answers, some of which are good. Call now, 866-WOW-1-WOW. That's 866-969-1969. This is The Jim Norton Show.
Welcome to the Jim Norton Show. Those of you that are listening, I always start off updating on my fairly uneventful life. And I'm still working on getting this stupid mortgage. And that's what I've been having financial insecurity, which I haven't had in years. Because I pay my bills on time. I got that from my mother. My mother's really good with money. She's smart, even a little frugal at times, but not to a point of being shitty about it. Just, like I remember I would wake up and turn the air conditioner on overnight, and she wouldn't let us have air conditioning overnight because it was too expensive. Maybe a little frugal. But again, she remembered what it was like to not have money. My father's not like that, and neither am I. So any money sense I got from my mom. So I'm pretty good with money. I've paid my bills. My mortgage is paid off. I don't, as she would always say, don't live beyond your means. I used to fucking hate that growing up, but she was right. Don't go out and, live like MC Hammer, like an asshole, carting 30 people around and losing $30 million. So I've done all this, with the majority of this stuff right. Not all of it, but the majority of it. And then this mortgage situation comes up, and I stand to lose some money, and I have done really nothing wrong. I haven't been acting irresponsibly. I've done what I think I should have done by the book. And it looks like it's working itself out now, so hopefully I won't lose any money at all. But I'll know more probably in the next 2 weeks. But that's really been freaking me out. And, it's just frustrating to not be in control of that when you think you're doing all the right shit. It's like, how do you not just freak out? So I've been trying just to have faith in the fact it's going to work out. Not religious faith, but just like, hey, man, you did the right stuff. It'll happen. All right, I'm babbling. Bryce in Dallas, interesting question about Ronda Rousey. What's up?
Hey, Jim. Hey, much like yourself, I'm a massive UFC and MMA fan, and I love Ronda Rousey. I thought her book was amazing, but she just came out and announced that she's dating Travis Brown. I don't know if you know who that is. He's a heavyweight.
Sure. Oh, yeah. He's a big beard. He's a big guy.
Yeah, big Hawaiian. And he's awesome.
Is he Hawaiian? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's a Hawaiian guy, but I think it makes her look really, really hypocritical because she shreds, rightfully so, rips apart Floyd Mayweather for his history of domestic violence, and this dude's got a pending charge of beating the crap out of his wife. I was wondering what you thought about that.
Well, to be honest with you, I am just hearing, excuse me, that she dated Travis Brown, or she's dating Travis Brown.
Right.
And, obviously I've met Rhonda. I've talked to her, interviewed her. I've met her outside, not socially, just at UFC we chatted. And of course, she's very lovely, and who wouldn't want to date her? Yeah. So when you hear she's dating Travis Brown, it makes sense. That's who she should be dating, a fucking UFC heavyweight. For people who don't know who Travis Brown is, he's not on her level as far as fame is concerned or dominance. But he's a good fighter, and he could literally knock out a fucking mule. Travis Brown is a gigantic punch and is a fucking monster. Yeah. So he's a big, frightening guy. And I think that's who you have to be to date her, because other guys, she's hanging out with guys like Stallone and other guys. So, they probably all want to fuck her. How could they not? And so you got to be a guy like Travis Brown to come on set and not just be a schlub. Like Jim Norton dating Ronda Rousey would seem wrong, because they'd be like, who's this little titted lady boy that you're dating? And she'd go, that's Jim, but he's kind of funny. But Travis Brown will come on and they'll go, we get it. Why you do? So I don't know about this domestic violence. The first I'm hearing of it is from you. I don't know if Floyd Mayweather's were proven or if there's been a bunch of them. And maybe with Travis Brown, it was just one thing that since she knows him and maybe Travis has explained to her what happened. So I don't know the details. I can't even speculate on it, dude, because I've heard nothing about that until you just said it.
Well, just real quick, I'll give you just a brief little thing. He was married to this insanely hot, like, fitness model chick, and they broke up, and she posted all these, like, pictures on her Instagram of all these, like, bruises, like these massive, like, hand-sized bruises on her biceps, and she had a black eye, and she accused him of doing it, and he denied it. And there's a lot of controversy about it, but I just think it makes her look really bad that being involved with a guy that's like linked to that, and she's like this sort of feminist sort of icon, like, and she's bashed Floyd Mayweather.
Well, it only makes her look bad if it's true. It does not make her look bad because the accusations, domestic violence, you got to take seriously. But, you know, again, she may know him very well.
Yeah.
And maybe she's even met the ex-wife or knows about the ex-wife. Who knows? The ex-wife could be a fucking nut and lying, or she could be telling the truth and maybe Travis. I don't know. I'll read up on it, and I mean, if I have more info, maybe next week, but I just don't know, buddy. But thank you for the call. And I'm just hearing that she's dating Travis Brown. And of course I'm a little jealous. God damn it, that should be me. I should be a big fighter dating Rhonda, but it's not meant to be. So thank you, buddy.
I love the video of her ripping your arm off in that armbar. It's pretty funny.
Dude, she's so fucking sexy in person. She really is, because she's very sweet. And I like Rhonda because she cries a lot. Like, that kind of makes me like her a lot. Like, she's not some fake tough person. Like, she's a real gentle soul, but she can just really fucking throw you through a wall when she wants to. So, thanks, man.
All right, you rock. Bye.
Okay, bye. Let's see here. Your girlfriend broke up with you after seeing my stand-up and discussing foot fetish. Oh, no, John, what's up?
Hey, my birthday present was to see you at Caroline, and during the 8 o'clock show, you had mentioned foot fetishes, and you asked the crowd if there was anybody that was into foot fetishes, and I never told her this, and I never sucked her toes or anything, but I raised my hand, and then we kind of spoke about it, and I talked about waiting in the mall at Lady Foot Locker, whatever, and we left, and she didn't really talk to me the entire way home. And I thought she might have been offended by the show.
Sure. But
in the text messages back and forth the day after, she was basically like, I don't appreciate that kind of fetish. I don't think I'm the test girl that you're meant for. All this other stuff. We've been together a year. We're almost engaged. And I just want to figure out what angle I should approach this at in order to explain to her that I'm not a freak show.
Let me tell you one thing. I mean, not to interrupt you, man. You know, one day you're going to call to thank me and say, thank God your show happened because I got to get out of this relationship before I wound up with someone who would be judgmental of me sexually. Now, if I was talking about pedophilia and you said like, hey man, I get turned on by 14-year-old girls. All right. Then I can understand her being fucking freaked out. But a foot fetish? The only thing I can think of is this, dude. Maybe you guys have had other trouble, or maybe she's wanted to get out of it for other things, and this was just kind of the excuse she's given herself. Is not that bizarre a fetish. So either she's a prude, or a little prudish and is freaked out by a fucking foot fetish, or maybe she feels betrayed because you never told her, and she thinks, wow, he's been doing this stuff with other girls and not me, and I'm annoyed. Or C, why would you have to hide your fetish? Maybe you sensed she was prudish all along, and that's why you didn't tell her.
I've never told any girl before, because I was always afraid of what would happen.
Dude, sorry, go ahead.
I mean, I was always afraid of that they'd break up with me. I mean, I'd mess around with their feet and stuff. I'd always give them foot rubs. And prior to our, going, it was time. You know, I had the ring and everything. We were never got into a fight. She never had any reason to break up with me. But I think the prudish aspect could be what it is.
Sure.
But I mean, what do I say to her in order to explain that and say, hey, listen, I'm not a freak.
Well, you could talk to her. You could talk to her about it. Maybe I think a part of it is she feels like, oh no, this guy has some kind of a secret life that I don't know about. And then I'm up there talking about fucking trans women and, you know, all this other stuff and body, like scent of a woman's underarms. So maybe she's thinking that there's a Pandora's box with you, that she doesn't know about. So maybe she thinks this is the tip of the iceberg. But if it's not the tip of the iceberg, if that's really kind of as far as you go, and only you know that, but you should never be afraid, dude. Because that's why people cheat on each other. That's one of the reasons. Or secret fucking resentments built up. Again, I'm very lucky. I'm a comedian. I can talk about this stuff on stage. And I'll be honest, dude, me talking about the stuff I talk about has cost me nice women. You know, and I'm probably farther down the scale of depravity than you are. But me talking about this stuff has absolutely turned women off who probably would have liked me and dated me. And there's times where you just got to go. That's the price I pay for being who I am. And if you like feet enough where it's really important to you, if it's not that important to you and it's one of those things you can take or leave, but if it's a real part of your sexuality, why shouldn't you be with someone that enjoys that with you? It's not dirty. It's not fucking gross. And the way to get into it, you don't need to fucking beg their approval. You know, again, it's not some weird fantasy like, look, could you pretend you're my sister? Foot fetish is fairly common. And the way to get into it is you start rubbing a girl's feet after work or whatever and tell her, you know, I really like your feet. I'm into feet. And she'd be like, what do you mean? She might think it's weird. I go, nothing. I just like feet. It's a part of you. You know, there's nothing on you I don't find attractive. And then rub her feet a little and kiss her feet and see what she does. But I don't think you should have to fucking hide that. It's not dirty. And you're not a freak for liking that. So you should tell her, but I wouldn't be apologetic other than, hey, look, maybe I should have been open with you earlier.
Yeah.
All right. And if there's other stuff, again, if there's other stuff, take the gamble. And dude, if she's a prude and if she's never going to go down any of those roads, well, then you have to make a decision on how important it is to you.
You're right.
All right.
Right.
All right. Good luck, buddy. Take care.
Hey, thanks so much.
Yeah. Call back with an update. I'm actually curious about this one.
Okay.
All right. Goodbye. Hey, Mike in California, you and your brother are having some problems. What's up?
Yeah, hi, Jim. My brother called last week. His name is Matthew, and he talked about me, and you guys talked about kind of what he should do regarding me. And, you know, I guess...
Could you refresh my memory, buddy? I don't really remember.
I'm sorry?
Could you refresh my memory? What was the problem? I don't remember.
Basically, he told you that I've lived with my parents. I've never lived outside of the house.
Okay.
And everyone's been trying to get me to move out.
Oh, right. And he said you guys fight every time he talks to you about it, and you get very angry and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he wouldn't talk to me for about 4 days, and then he finally told me what you had said. And at first I was very angry, but I didn't know who you were, so I looked up online, and I was watching a lot of YouTube videos if you talk about your addiction, and maybe not as bad as me, but maybe your problem with weight and food. And I wanted to thank you because for the first time in my life, I've really been thinking about starting my life, and I want to lose weight, and I want to have a family one day, but I know that starts with moving out of my parents' home and getting a job for the first time. But you know, your honesty about a lot of things in your life really kind of made me realize, maybe as dumb as it sounds because I've never heard of you before, but your honesty about a lot of things in your life really makes me realize that I was never honest with myself or my family. And I would just get really defensive and angry because I didn't want to be honest with myself about what I was doing or anything like that. And I just maybe wanted to... Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say thank you for saying that. That's really nice of you to say. It's one of those things, dude. And I've said this before on this show. People call me for like advice, but it's more like I only talk about the things I have certain experience with, and because I'm a high school dropout, so I can only give the experience I've had. But I think that the part of like addictions or shameful behavior, one of the big parts that makes them so hard is the secret of them, or the fact that we're afraid of talking about them. And it's like most things, again, other than victimizing other people or really harming other people, but most things are not as ugly when we see them in the light. Like, you know, if you have a food addiction, or you're scared, or you're impotent, or you're whatever it is, you throw it out there and you talk about it, and you realize, okay, there's a way to move forward and get on with things. And it's like, it's never too late to do that. How old a guy are you?
I'm 33. I'll be 34 here in November. And I was, like you had said, it was kind of stupid to think about, but I'm almost 400 pounds. And for whatever reason, I didn't think that anyone else knew that, even though it was very clear to see that I was that weight. And it was almost like I was hiding behind my food. And because I've never had a job or lived outside of my parents' home, I almost ate out of boredom. I would go and get in my car and drive to Taco Bell at 3 or 4 in the morning and eat because I had nothing better to do.
Yeah.
And now I want to stop that. But, you know, I know that, you know, you have been losing weight, and I wanted to know what, other than stopping eating fast food, what is it, another practical step that I can take to kind of maybe start my trip down losing weight?
Well, I've been really fortunate in that food for me is definitely an addiction, but not to the point where like other things have been. And like, it wasn't my main one. And it's a very difficult one because you have to eat to fucking live. I mean, you can't be,
Right.
Booze and drugs are very easy compared to food because you can't be abstinent from food. So all I can suggest, I've never gone to 12-step programs like Overeaters Anonymous or any of those other like, slim, whatever the programs are for people, Weight Watchers, or whatever they are. But I know sometimes going to those things, can be helpful because you talk to other people in the same boat, and it helps sometimes to realize that we're not alone. And everyone knows, like, okay, I'm overweight. I know I'm not alone with that. But it's the feelings that come with it. It's the reasons we do shit. Like, hey, man, this is actually comfort for me, and I feel rejected by women, so I stuff that by shoving food in my fucking face, or whatever the addiction is. And when I hear another person say exactly how I feel without me soliciting it, I feel like, Jesus, I'm not as alone as I thought I was. So you might want to start with one of those things and then look into some diets. And it's not easy, but it's very, very possible. And dude, no one feels better or gets more respect than somebody who's fat and loses a lot of weight. I gotta run because we got a lot of calls, but definitely stick with it. And it's possible to do. And you know, when you see a big fat guy in the gym or a fat woman in the gym, honestly, everybody in the gym respects that person because hey, look, they're on the fucking right road. This is where you belong. So don't even ever be embarrassed to go to a gym and work out because fuck the bodybuilders, man. Those guys will probably look at you and help you if you ask them to.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right, Mike. Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, buddy. Let's see here. Ryan in California, wife and body parts. That was really a nice call. It made me feel good that Mike said that stuff. Ryan in California, wife and body parts are not compatible. Oh no, she's the type of girl I like. What's up, Brian?
Hi. Basically her downstairs is, it's kind of tucked in, recessed, not like the steak flap type of thing that you claim to prefer.
Oh, she has kind of smaller lips. Okay.
Yeah. It's not just that. It's the opening being small and it's her business being very shallow. So it's either I'm tearing her or just beating the crap out of her cervix. You know how they'll reach down and kind of push back. They're like, hey, not all the way, not all the way.
Well, do you have a big dick, or was she like smaller than one would think?
Little column A, little column B, I'd say. So we've tried like muscle relaxers. We've tried, different kinds of lube. We've tried, a little extra prep work as far as like oral stimulation goes. And the only other thing I could think to try is maybe get a Marilade that's smaller than what I'm packing downstairs. So I don't know. And she's into it, but
she likes the sex, but it hurts her. Yeah.
Pain. Yeah. And I can't, that's just not a turn on for me. You know what I mean?
Of course. Do you know what you want to try, dude? Maybe this would happen or help is get slowly larger dildos. Like, as much as I joke about being fucked in the ass by, all that stuff, I literally, the idea of a woman with a strap on poking my ass is kind of sexy because it's dirt. I can't take any pressure in my asshole, really. So, like, I've never had a butt plug in my ass, but they say that helps. So for a woman, maybe if you use a dildo that gets bigger and bigger, it will help get her pussy ready for you.
Like stretching and piercing.
Really slowly, though. Yeah, and again, I don't know what that process is, but I know there's got to be a way to do that. But just, use Eros is a good lube. I should get to be a paid spokesman for those motherfuckers. EROS. It's also called Pure, PJUR. I think it's the same company. And there's a body glide that works really fucking well. And make sure that it's okay to stick in a pussy and it's good for you. But that stuff works better than Astroglide or any of those other shitty lubes. So maybe you could try something like that. But I don't know, dude. Maybe get increasingly larger dildos and see if she can relax.
All right. Yeah.
Cool. Good luck with your big fucking pecker, okay?
Thanks, Jeff.
All right.
You have a good one.
Thanks, man. You too. Nick in New York. Oh, no. Cheated on his best gal. Hi, Nick.
Vic. Get the name right. It's Vic.
Oh, I'm sorry. Vic, how are you?
All right, Jim. How the hell are you, sweetie pie?
I'm good, buddy.
Before I talk about my skank whore girlfriend, let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Is it true that you own the Godfather house?
Is it true that I own the Godfather house?
Where the
Yes.
movie was filmed?
Yes, I do. I do live there. Right now, I'm sitting at the table where Michael was sitting when he suggested that he be the one to kill Sollozzo and the Turk.
That is fucking awesome, Jimmy.
Thank you. So what's up, buddy?
No, not too much. I just wanted to say hello. Forget about my girlfriend. I'm over her already.
All
you know,
right.
there's so many... All right.
Godspeed, Vic. Take care. Let's see here. Ex-girlfriend's new boyfriend. Dave in Massachusetts. Interesting question. What's up, Dave?
It's a good thing you're not Fredo, Chipper.
Fuck yeah. I ain't afraid of nobody. Fucking little wordplay gets everyone every time. What's up, buddy?
How are you, Jim?
Good. How are you?
A quick story. I was dating a girl. We weren't official for about a year or so. It got I had feelings once again, tried to contact her. Didn't want to really...
Your phone dropped out. You were dating. How long did you date her for?
About 6 months, but nothing was official. And then in April, I started to have feelings again. So our house unexpectedly in September just to figure out sort of what happened. And things got complicated. The new boyfriend walked in. The mom walked in. So I left. So she's like, all right, let's...
Your phone... Dave, do me a favor. Hang up and call back. I'm not fucking with you. Your phone is crapping out, and I can't hear a word you're saying. I hear it for a couple seconds, and then it's off for 10 seconds. So whoever the phone screener is, if you could just tell Dave, it may be Lou, if you could just tell Dave to call back, so we can get a clear connection if that's possible. And I'll talk to somebody else in the meantime. Matt in South Carolina. Hello, Matt.
Hey.
How are you, buddy?
Doing all right, man.
Good.
So, I've been off illegal drugs for 12 years.
Oh, cool.
But I've been on prescription meds for about 10.
Okay, yeah, those are...
And Xanax mostly for most of the 10 years.
Okay.
I have an appointment next week to talk about going into a detox facility.
Okay, great.
And I just got anxiety. I'm nervous.
Sure.
I don't know if it's the right thing to do.
Well, of course. You'd be an idiot if you weren't nervous. It's okay to be nervous, dude. Like, being nervous, what you're looking at is, here's this giant thing in my life. And you know it's bad for you. You know it's killing you. It's wrecking your quality of life. You're a slave to it. And yet there's still that part of you that goes, but what will I be like without it? What will life be like without it? That's the sick part of it. It's like something that is making us feel awful and is a terrible addiction. And yet it still convinces us to say, well, you kind of need me, pal. It's like smoking. Here's one of the things that helped me. I believe his name was Jim Labriola, a comedian. And he had said this to somebody else, and I got it second or third hand, and it helped me tremendously when I quit smoking. I think my friend Tom Nemec, who's also a comedian, said this to me, that when you quit smoking, you convince yourself that smoking is a part of who you are. Like you say, this is a part of me, and I can't let it go. And then you realize smoking is not a part of who I am. It's a fucking thing I do. It's a sick thing that I do, but it's not a part of who I am. Those prescription medications are not a part of who you are. They're not part of Matt. They're not you. It's this outside thing which in a parasitic way has attached itself to you. So you get rid of it, and then you live your life much freer. You're not losing a piece of yourself.
It makes a lot of sense, actually.
Yeah, you're not losing a piece of yourself. The scary part is it's unfamiliar. Is it what's life going to be like? How am I going to handle stress? How am I going to handle joy? Oh my God, all this time on my hands. What am I going to do? There's such a great life out there at times. And dude, I think of this with my own stupid sex addiction. There's so many times I make myself go out because I want to look at just porn on the computer or fucking just intrigue with a girl and be an asshole. And I'm like, it's 80 degrees out, you dumb motherfucker. Go for coffee. And I'll walk out or I'll take my laptop and I'll go outside. I'm like, this is what living is. You're outside. You know what I mean? Like you're out going for a walk in your neighborhood and you're not being a creep in your apartment. Like these things convince us that they're important and none of them are. So go to the rehab. What's the worst that can happen if you stay on drugs? Your quality of life is going to suck more and you're eventually going to probably overdose or die or kill yourself or just live a nice long shit life. What's the worst that can happen if you go to What's the worst that can happen if you go to rehab? 30 days? Without pills, and then you go back to them. Like, there's no downside to trying to stop sincerely. You lose nothing.
I got nothing to lose.
Nothing at all.
Right.
Other than this fucking horrible parasite. It's not a part of you.
Just try it.
All right.
Of course, it's going to happen.
Yeah, and you'll learn a lot about yourself, and you'll realize that it's only a symptom of what the issue is. And once you get rid of the drug, the actual fucking substance, then the stuff that's really going on with you, you can figure out and work on. And, all of it's possible to work through, man. All of it is workable.
I appreciate it, Jimmy.
Good luck, man. Take care. All right, yeah, go to the rehab, man. Okay, bye, buddy. Let's see. Did he call back the guy who was on the phone from Boston? Oh, Dave in Massachusetts. Is that him? Hi, Dave.
Hello, Jim, and yes, I heard you.
Hi. Was that you?
Yes, it was me, yes.
Okay. So you dated this girl briefly, and then you broke up, and then you started talking, and things got serious, and then her new boyfriend and her mom stopped over, so you had to leave the house. Pretty much that's it?
I stopped by her house unexpectedly, and this was after we had broken up, and I hadn't heard anything for about 3 months, and I just wanted to know why, because all of a sudden she cut things off like back in the beginning of the summer, and we talked for about 10 minutes, then those two came in, and she said, hey, can we continue this conversation? So the past 3 or 4 weeks I've been texting, hey, can we continue this? No, I'm busy. She's been ignoring me. So I had the opportunity in about a week or two, I'm heading down sort of that way, she's about an hour away, to sort of stop over in person and just be like, hey, what the fuck? But also call her out on her bullshit. I see that she's on dating sites now. I know that she's dicked over a few other guys. I know it's not my place, but at the same time, I know that I've done that to people before, as probably you have, and I just want to let her know that if she keeps going down this path in a couple of years, it's not going to be pretty. You know what I mean?
I understand the emotion, but what you're doing right now, and I've done it, is you're conning yourself. You're telling yourself a load of shit. And it's not because you're a liar. It's because we find these reasons to have contact with people who we want to have contact with. The ex-girlfriend's a tough one. There's the jealousy. There's the possessiveness. But it's never about, I just want to let her know that she's headed down. You only dated her for a few months. She's not the mother of your children who's all of a sudden fucking hanging out with a heroin dealer. That's a different story. This is a girl who has made clear that the relationship is kind of over. You've already stopped by once and it didn't work out. Her lack of contact with you is your answer. And sometimes we have to swallow that. We don't want to. Her being on dating sites, dude, and I know it stinks. It's none of your business. Any more than me being on a dating site is any of my ex's business, or you, Dave, being on a dating site. You got to let it go, because what people do is, it's like the guy friend who's in love with the girl and he hangs out with her and he's like, she's like my sister. He's conning himself because he doesn't want to admit the ugly fact. I like her, she doesn't like me, and I'm being selfish. This one, you just got to let go. You don't need to tell her anything. It's not your place to tell her new boyfriend a fucking thing or to tell her a fucking thing. If you want to give advice, you give advice to yourself and go, you know what? Wow, man, I really want contact with someone that for whatever reason doesn't want contact with me, and that's frustrating, and it hurts my feelings, and it makes me sad. And I've done that to girls. I'm sure there's been a girl who liked you, Dave, that you didn't like as much. So that's the way the world goes, and there'll be another girl for you.
Okay, I hear you, Jimmy. I mean, I know I was done wrong, and maybe this is sort of like a revenge factor sort of thing.
Possibly,
sure,
man.
I know what was going on the whole time.
It could be revenge.
Okay.
It doesn't always have to be a love motive, dude. It could absolutely be I want to inflict a little pain or a little discomfort. But that's not the way to be, dude. Just let it go. I mean, we all do shitty things in relationships. I mean, and you move on. You know what I mean? Revenge just gets ugly, and then everyone has to up the ante. Karma has a way of coming around, man. It really does. Just move on from it and find a nice girl. Because if you legitimately didn't do anything and she just kind of douched you, well, then you're due for a good one. So maybe that will work out in your favor on the next one.
I'm hoping so, Jimmy. Hey, I love you, and thank you for the show. They should rerun this all the time on any single channel.
Well, thank you, Dave. After I eventually hang myself, I'm sure they will. Thank you very much, buddy. Be good.
Take care.
Take care, man. Let's see here. Josh in Boston, you and your wife had a threesome. Very saucy call, Josh.
Yeah, so we talked about it for a while. Then we had a friend that was moving.
Guy or girl?
And a girl.
Okay.
So then they got I don't drink. They got a little drunk, and it ended up happening. Right after, my wife kind of was freaked out about it. She's in the chicks, but she was freaked out about it watching me bang her.
Yes.
But then during sex, she'll talk about being with another woman. But then she'll also tell me how she had a guy over and she fucked the shit out of him, and it kind of gets me going.
Yeah, it's hot. Yeah.
So I just don't know if it's I just don't know if we should even try it again. See, I don't think I'd be into watching her get fucked, but
okay.
talking about it gets us, it's just hot.
Would you want? Let me ask you this: would you want to watch her? Because there might be a difference. Would you want to watch her suck another guy's dick?
I don't know. It's during sex. When we talk about it, it's hot. But I don't know how I would be, if I'd be all right with it after. You know what I mean?
Could you fuck in front of another guy? Meaning?
Oh yeah, I think so. Because I'm like a fucking the rock hard kid over here.
Oh, good for you, man. I envy that. So maybe what you ought to do is this. Everything piecemeal. Like, I was dating a girl one time, and we used to talk about her fucking other guys. We thought it was really hot. But I didn't know if I could handle her actually fucking the guy. So we did a thing where we agreed that she would just suck the guy's dick. And she did. And she didn't fuck him. And the first time it was cool. The second time I got like a little jealous. But I'm glad she didn't fuck him, because it would have been harder for me to shake off her fucking him. So whatever your limit is, stop the moment before and let that be the limit for the whole experience, and then go, you know what? We fucked while that guy just jerked off and watched, and make it very clear there's going to be no contact whatsoever. And maybe he'll be a voyeur and just be okay with jacking off. And maybe your wife can even talk to him. As long as it's clear that there's going to be no contact. Then when he leaves, if you feel a little weird about it, well, your wife didn't touch another guy, so you can just go, hey, let's not do that anymore. You know what I mean? There's ways to test the waters without actually going, all right, lay on the bed and let 5 guys fuck you, and then I'll see how I feel about it. Maybe the way to do it with that girl should have been, hey, honey, you and I will fuck while you and her just kiss, and then see how you feel about it. So you should have led into it piecemeal, or maybe just talk about it. Sometimes just talking about shit is hot enough, dude, and you don't have to do it.
Right.
Most of my fantasies, I have not lived out. In the way that I have some of the most fucking perverted, filthy sexual conversations with women. And I think they are things that the woman I'm talking to and me both know we're not going to do. But the fun part is the exploration of such dirty things in a safe way, which is talking. Do you know what I mean? And that's the way it is. Like, there's a lot of women that have real rape fantasies. Now, a lot of them want to act that out with a person who they feel very safe with. And some of them don't want to act it out at all. They just like the idea of getting off to such a barbaric, awful fantasy, but they wouldn't even want to act it out with a boyfriend. It's just talking about it. Do you know what I mean? It's like everyone has different levels of where they want to go. So just find the level that works. That's it. You can still fucking talk about it. You don't have to do it.
Okay.
I talk about pop locking all the time. I don't dance. All right, buddy. Thank you for the call.
Bye.
All right. Bye, Josh, you sweet boy. Let's see here. Ooh, Bob in North Carolina. This is an interesting one. What's up?
Hey, Jimmy. Love the show. I was calling just to see your advice. I'm a recovering sex addict, been sober for over 2 years.
Okay.
Got my chip, very happy.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Okay, 2 years recovering sex addict. Is she a recovering sex addict?
No.
Is she a sex addict?
She was, when I married her, we've been married almost 30 years.
Wow.
She was a good girl. Yeah, she was a good girl. She's never done anything wild or crazy. And last year, I found out that she had a couple of affairs.
Hold on, dude. Are you outside? It's very hard to hear you. Just stay still if you can, buddy, because I can hear the wind blowing through it. We're losing you a little bit. She had one affair or a couple?
She had 2 affairs.
Okay.
Last year. With 2 different guys that she worked with.
Okay, what kind of work? You don't have to say where her job is, but what is it the kind of work where she'll be in contact with these guys again? Let's just say that.
Yes.
Did you catch her or did she confess?
She confessed.
Okay.
Actually, she didn't confess. Her girlfriend told me about it because she knew how hard I had been working on my sobriety.
Now, did your wife start these affairs after you confessed your sexual addiction or after you told her something?
She had known about it for years, and it wasn't until I didn't start getting help till about 2 years ago.
Do you think that she did this out of, oh my God, I've been a good girl, what the fuck has he been doing the whole time? Or out of a little anger so she doesn't feel like a fool, like he's been acting out for 30 years, I'm going to go out and see what that's like a little bit?
I don't know. And that's the I mean, she is totally repentant and is doing everything. She's taking full acceptance of what she had done, her responsibility and everything. And that's great, fine, and dandy. And I can tell that she's truly sincere. The problem I'm having is that I still look at her, and that's all I can think of.
Can you imagine what she would look at? And again, I know this is easy for me to say because I'm not married. Can you imagine what she looks at when she sees you then?
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the thing. You know, I admit that I had an addiction that caused me to do that. She didn't have anything for any reason like that.
Well, again, I know it's very painful. And I'm not going to say it's not because I'm not married. I know that but that's almost like being in recovery for alcoholism and going to, like, say you got a 2-year piece for being sober 2 years in AA or another program, whatever. And then all of a sudden your wife went out and got a DUI because she got fucked up at the office. And then you going, well, you're fucked up for having a DUI because I have a sickness and you don't. So it's almost like, I don't want to excuse my behavior because I'm a sex addict and not give anyone else leeway. Do you know what I mean? Like, they say that in addiction, we are accountable for our behavior. We're not necessarily responsible for it because we were addicted, but we are fucking accountable, meaning we have to face the music and own up to it. So do you know what I mean? Like, you don't want to put yourself in a position where, hey, look, what I did for 30 years of marriage is okay because I'm sick. And what she did for maybe a stupid reason is unforgivable. Like, I know it's hard to look at your wife after she's cheated. I'm sure it is. But, you know, there's one, I don't know if you practice any kind of steps, but, you know, some places have steps where they say one of them is, you know, when it comes to making amends, that we can kind of start out by forgiving people who have wronged us, which is very hard to do. But if she's willing to forgive you and she's truly repentant, why not forgive her?
Well, very good advice.
I know it's easier said than done, too. I know it's easier said than done. You know, it's hard because you got to look at her. But, you know, hey, man, maybe it will help her understand you more, dude, a little bit. Do you know what I mean? Like, you had a long run with it. Can you imagine if she got all the fun and out of it that you got all those years? She just got to do it a couple of times. You got 30 fucking years.
Yeah, that's true. I do have the last thing I need to ask. What would Chipper do in my place?
I'd probably just show her my fucking pecker and go, how could you give up on this fucking big fucking thing or something? And a cooter would drip. Trust me. Just show her your fucking pecker and a cooter will drip. All right?
Love you, Chipper.
All right. Yeah, I know. See you later, alligator. All right. See you later, alligator's fucking cool. It rhymes. Let's see here. Mark in New Jersey, about the guy who called about being overweight from California. What's up, Mark? Hey.
Fucking stuff.
Hello?
Yeah.
What's up, buddy?
Hey, Jim.
Hey, man.
Hey, you know, you were talking to that 400-pound guy.
Yes.
And I had a gastric sleeve 3 years ago. All right? And that's the only part of gastric sleeve surgery.
Oh, gastric sleeve. Yeah, my buddy Paul just had that. Paul Field. Yes.
Yeah. And, you know, this is the first time in my whole life. I'm 55. And in 3 years, I've been the same weight because every time I lost weight, I went down. And it's a food addiction.
Yeah.
But you're driven by the hormones in your stomach.
Sure.
And the more you diet, the more these hormones are produced. So it's a losing thing, especially when you're that weight. There's almost no chance of you really being successful long term.
You know, I don't. We have to hang up on you because I'm hearing an echo from your phone, and I apologize. But thank you for the call. It's hard for me to hear myself because I'm hearing myself bounce back for some reason. But Mark said that, you know, I'm guessing all of you heard it, but the gastric sleeve might be the only help for this guy. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think you can get that, but I think that Mark or the guy in California whose name I don't remember, Mike, I think, give it a shot other ways. Try doing something like those, try meetings or other forms, because you may all of a sudden love the exercise or whatever, because you want to work on sometimes, like I said, the food is okay, that's the thing I do. But there's more involved than just food. It's not just about food or hormones. There are parts of it, but it's about being lonely and fucking being self-hating and self-destructive and all this other shit that doesn't get fixed just by bypass surgery. I think people do that as a last resort or as a resort after they've tried other things and hasn't worked. So I think he should try other stuff first. That would be my suggestion. And then maybe give that fucking gastric sleeve a shot. But Paul is very psyched. I'm happy for Paul because he's on Facebook fucking posting 25 pounds lost, 30 pounds. Like, Paul seems really motivated. So, which I think is great. Like, I'm happy to hear that Paul is doing that because he was 2-something. But if you're motivated to lose the weight, you can. So maybe gastric sleeve is the answer. And look, my friend in California, if you think that's what you want to do, then certainly do it. But I don't think you have to try that first. Let's see here. Colin in New Jersey takes medicine because of an injury. What's up, man? Col? Hello? Not coming through for some reason. Let's see here. Sam in Michigan. Hello?
Hey, Jimmy.
Hey, buddy. What's up?
Hey, you kicked butt in Detroit a couple weeks ago, man.
Oh,
hey,
thank you. I love that show.
Yeah, I'm just calling in. Me and my girlfriend's got a dog, and I have a cat, and well, they're not getting along too much, and the dog's biting on the cat and whatnot, and just wondering, she's been hitting around. Maybe we should put the cat down and stuff, and for a compromise. Is it wrong of me to say, hey, you got to give me something in return for me doing this, sexually wise or anything like that? Is that wrong of me to do that kind of stuff to put my cat down for me to get a little extra pleasure or not?
Yeah, I don't know if you want to tie in the putting of a pet down with getting blown or 2 fingers in your ass. You should probably keep those things separate. Yeah. I think it's like, you and your wife remind me of Rocky and Paulie, where Paulie yells, you're wrong, friendzo. And Rocky says, they do because they want to do. This is one of those things I think you and your wife should do because you want to do, not because you owe or because it's a bargain, okay?
You got it, man.
All right,
love you, Jimmy.
All right, thanks, man. Let's see here. How about Alex in Virginia Beach? What's going on?
Hey, Jim, I love you, man.
Well, thank you, mister.
My question is, I have this friend. We grew up together. We were best buds, and he just got a new job, and he moved to the coolest fucking city, and got a sweet apartment in the coolest part of the city, the downtown market. And all of a sudden, he doesn't want anything to do with me, and it's I don't know, how do you deal with a best friend that doesn't want anything to do with you anymore?
Well, hold on, let me ask you. How long have you guys been friends? How long have you guys been friends?
30 years, probably.
30 years. Now, and this might sound like a weird question. Is one of you drinking or doing drugs or some kind of a weird lifestyle thing that you didn't do before, or is this just a move? I mean, for real.
No, he's just way more successful than me, and
okay.
Just, high paying, he works for big companies and stuff, and I kind of wash dishes and shit. I was
well, do you when you're around him, do you always comment on the great shit that he has?
No, I'm not even around him anymore because he gets when he's doing good, he's all smug and stuff, and he's he's too good for me now,
Oh, okay. I was wondering if it was maybe he felt guilty about being successful. Sometimes people feel guilty. I asked about drinking or doing drugs because that's an obvious one. Sometimes if one person's going down a really crazy path and their friend isn't, they split up because they just, one goes with people who are doing that shit. Who knows? Maybe he's just found friends that make that kind of money he makes or can live the kind of lifestyle. Does he want to go out to places that you can't afford?
It's not necessarily that, because he he is a bit of maybe a curmudgeon or a miser or something. He doesn't really go out. He
doesn't sound like a great guy, dude. Dude, he doesn't sound like a great guy.
He's my best friend since childhood.
I'm sure you love him. I'm sure you love him. But what you're telling me is he's smug because he makes more money than you, and he's a fucking miser. Those are not good friend qualities. You know what I'm saying? Unless he's just busy with this new job.
I don't think he's a bad guy, it's just problems,
Well, then why don't you, if you miss him, why don't you text him and say, hey, what's up, man? Let's grab some food or something. I miss you. I miss seeing you. I know men are taught we're not supposed to say that. You're a faggot if you miss a guy. But you're not.
Right.
It's okay to say that to your friend. Hey, man, I miss hanging out with you. Hey, stupid. You know, we'll call each other names to kind of mask the affection we're trying to express. You know, like I'll text Keith Robinson. I saw stupid Keith last night. You know what I mean? It's like, all right, stupid, I'll see you later, and I hug him. But I just wanted to hug my friend because I love my friend. But it's hard to say that, hey, man, I love you, and I'm glad I'm seeing you. So you mask it with something. So mask it. Hey, dummy, I miss you. Let's grab some food. And then see how he responds. But all you can do is reach out and go, hey, I miss you, and I miss hanging. If that's too hard to say I miss you, say I miss hanging. And then see what he says. And if he's not responsive, then realize that, you know, maybe he's a friend that you're going to just not see for a little while. Okay?
Yeah. Yes.
All right. Reach out to him, Alex.
All right. Thanks, Jimmy.
Be good, buddy. What's up, Jackson, California? Hello.
Hey, what's up, Jimmy? How you doing?
I'm good, buddy. How are you?
All right. So, I don't know what the definition of a sex addict is, but I love it. I haven't cheated or anything like that, but like, you know, jerking off is like every single day, sometimes twice a night. Wife gives it to me. But you know, she's kind of been she's got other things she's got to deal with. But I mean, I have like apps on my phone. I've got all kinds of stuff. Sure. I can't stop looking at it.
Sure.
But like, unless it doesn't, you know, mess anything up. So should I stop? I mean, like, what if I don't want to stop?
You know, I definitely, it makes complete sense, man, because I go through phases with that where I really do enjoy it, and it's fun, and it feels good, and it's sexy, and it's distracting. That's the most important thing. It's a dopamine drip, and it's distracting. And then there's other times where it does bother me. I'm sure you have some times where it gets to be exhausting, or you're like, what the fuck? Yeah. It's got to be those moments. And, you know, in order to stop doing anything, I have to want to stop doing it more than I want to do it, and be willing to take whatever steps I choose to take, or whatever steps you choose to take. It could be a program, it could just be cold turkey, whatever the fuck it is. So if you're saying you don't want to stop, well, then you're not going to stop. And I don't know what this sex addict definition that Dr. Steve might give you, but I just know that it's like what they say with drinking. It's not how much you drink or what you drink, it's what it does to you. And for me, with sex addiction, a lot of it comes down to, what am I willing to risk for this feeling? Like, what am I willing to throw out in my life for this? Now, if you're married or you're in a relationship and you're dirty talking other women, or if you're cheating with prostitutes, or if you're jerking off all the time, well, then you're risking a lot. You're risking your entire marriage, or you're risking sexual pleasure with your wife because you're getting off so much that it's going to get harder and harder for her to get you. Do you know what I'm saying? That to me is a measure of it. What am I willing to risk for this feeling? And sometimes we're willing to risk a lot more than we think until we actually analyze it.
Yes, I wouldn't, like I said, I wouldn't want to cheat. I don't want to do anything outside of my marriage. But, you know, it's kind of like, you know, Instagram, you follow these chicks with these huge tits, and it's just, I love it. Like, I love looking at them all day long, and then it's like at home, I do that kind of stuff. And yeah, there's been times where it's just like, you know, I'll relieve myself or whatever, and then she's finally comes around, and it's like, I'm good.
Yeah.
But then I feel like when I want it, she's never, you know, around the same time. But it's just like, I like it too much to want to change.
Yes. But also just knowing what it is, it's now a replacement for the disappointment of her saying no. Now, I understand jerking off. Hey, look, if you're a little horny, jerk off. But then there's a normal person balance with that. And then there's the thing that I do. And then all of a sudden they come around and they're ready. And I'm like, nah, I'm good. Because the addiction begins to replace them. And that's where it gets bad for me. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not bad. Hey, your girlfriend doesn't want to fuck you because she's on a rag or she's cranky, so you just jack off. All right, big deal. You watch some porn. But all of a sudden, when I'm jerking off and I noticed a bunch of times she wants sex and I'm like, nah, I'm good because I got off better with that movie than I will with her. And it did begin to replace human interaction, and that very subtly begins to drive a wedge between people. And then all of a sudden it drives a much bigger wedge than I ever thought was imaginable. And then all of a sudden I had to start fantasizing about other shit when I was with them. And then all of a sudden I become distant from human contact because I just want what I'm seeing on the computer screen. And it's a slow, it's a slow process.
Because I mean, it's like I keep feeling I have to go to the next step or find something, you know, more crazy than I thought before.
Upping the ante.
Exactly.
So that's the addiction. It just hasn't cost you enough yet. But what happens is sometimes when it could cost you your marriage, or it could, who knows? Or it could just be she feels very, very betrayed by all this stuff. So just be very careful of it. Maybe it hasn't hurt you enough yet to want to stop. So if you can stop before it hurts you, but it normally leads down a very rough path, and you're already seeing where it's beginning to replace her, and that will continue. So just keep your eye on it. That's all I can suggest, okay?
All right, man. Thanks so much. I appreciate it.
Good luck. We have a lot of calls on the line. Just one more quick one because I apologize. I have to wrap up. The comic in Daniel in California. You're trying to get paid by the headliner you're opening for. What's up, Daniel?
Yeah, so I've been opening up for him for about 10 months now, and things are good. When we do like the improv or whatnot, the improv pays us as the MC in the middle act. But when we do some of the smaller clubs, he pays us out. And the last couple of times, pretty much when he picked us up, he's like, this is where you're going to get paid each show as an MC and then as a feature. And the last couple of shows, we've been shorted, differing amounts, obviously. But last time it was, right before the last show of the weekend, he pretty much gave us an envelope and say, hey, here's how much you're getting paid. You guys can figure out how you want to divvy it up. And I ended up getting shorted a couple $100. My other buddy got shorted, a little bit more than that. So just trying to kind of deal with that situation because he's not exactly, he's kind of an intimidating guy. And I love the stage time. I love the exposure it gives me. It allows me to start building my fan base. But at the same time, I want to get paid what I feel like I was told I was going to get paid.
Well, let me ask you. First of all, that's really shitty of him to do. If it's happening the way you're saying it's happening, it's very shitty of him to do. You have a couple of options. You can talk to him, and go, look, man, I've just noticed this is happening. Maybe, is he not drawing as well as he thought? Maybe he's had problems with his money, whatever, but that should not affect the pay. You may say to him, look, man, I thought we discussed this and I'm just not sure why it's happening. But I do appreciate the stage time. You can approach him without going, hey, motherfucker. Now you have to realize he may go, all right, man, and then not work with you anymore. So, are you okay with making this money that's lower and saying, fuck it, I'll take the stage time. This is more valuable to me than the proper dollar amount. But if you want that money the way you're supposed to be getting it, then you may have to say to him, look, dude, and it's easy for people to go, fuck him, just tell him you want your money. But in our business, sometimes stage time is very critical and very hard to come by. I would never purposefully short an opener, ever. So if it's happening, I think you should talk to him nicely. If you have a friendly relationship with him and say, look, man, I'm not sure if this is happening on purpose. This must be a mistake. I got to wrap up, dude. They're yelling at me. But you can have a nice discussion with him, because I don't think it's right that he's doing that to you, but you can talk to him without being accusing or motherfuckering him too. Okay?
No, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the stage time what really matters, especially where I'm at. So I think
okay. Well, then maybe you have a nice discussion with him, but just realize if he's a real dick who will short you money, he may just all of a sudden take another comic who won't mention it. So, make that decision to yourself how important it is to you. Okay?
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Jim.
Good luck, buddy. Thank you, everyone, for listening, and thank you, Lou, for working the mechanisms that you work. Goodbye, folks.
Thanks for listening to The Jim Norton Show. Hear all that advice whenever you want to on demand at SiriusXM.com/on-demand. On SiriusXM is real.